Welcome back to a Deeper Dig Conversation, episode 29. As you can see, we are in the beautiful McLaren Park. This creative, I had the opportunity of meeting at the Adobe Create Now event. She is a multifaceted creative, devoting to graphic design, branding, really all the above. Michelle, thank you for hopping on. Grateful to have you here.
Thank you.
So one of the first questions I really want to ask you is, who are you as a person? Like, how would you describe yourself as a person and how that correlates with your work?
Well, I think I am someone who's always open to exploring, learning, just creating new things. So I would say every day there's a better version of me. I am always improving, always looking to grow, always looking to learn and try new things.
And from the technical side, how would that look, like, as far as learning it from a design perspective?
I think design is always changing in terms of the trends, in terms of what we see and do every day. So I really like to connect what I do every day, the things I see, the people I interact with my work.
And one of the things that really captured me with your work is mainly how you pay attention to the small details. You know, that's a quality that not a lot of creatives capture. And how are you able to incorporate that with your work?
I think I'm just very crazy for little details. So let's say the hierarchy, the alignment, the colors, right? Everything has to fit perfectly. And there has to be a connection to it. So little details like that, I really pay attention to and I really take notice.
And one of the things that I feel like kind of is very important is just the energy that the Bay Area brings. Definitely, you know, we're blessed to be in a place that is full of thriving creatives, full of thriving artists, and people that seek for aspiration. How much do you get inspired by other creatives that are out here in the Bay Area? If you want to shout out some people, go ahead.
I would say not much from the Bay Area. I guess my younger sister would be someone I get inspired by a lot, but I mainly take inspiration from abroad, from Asia. There's a publishing company that I really enjoy following their work. They're called Victionary. They're actually based in Hong Kong. So they do a lot of loud designs, designs that are kind of different, very modern, and they're very ahead of the trend. So what they do, we will see it 10 years later, 20 years later.
Like, kind of being ahead of the time.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I think that's such an important concept, just being ahead of the curve. And we were talking about like this earlier. Like, I feel like for me, like Studio Ghibli, I recently saw my first Studio Ghibli film yesterday, Princess Mononoke, and they're just way ahead of the curve. And it was almost so surprising that they released it in 1997 because here we are in 2025, still talking about their work, still mentioning their work. And, you know, one of the things that I feel like is so sick about your work is like that sense of, you know, attention to detail, but at the same time, like how you take inspiration across from abroad.
Sorry, was that a question?
No, it wasn't a question. It was a statement. It was a statement. This is an actual question, fellow. Like, what made you kind of have that start? Like, what was one of the first things that really made you fall in love in what you're doing?
I grew up as a very quiet and shy kid. I didn't really talk to people openly. I was taught to kind of hold back a lot. So I didn't have a way to express myself. I think the only medium I had was drawing. I really enjoyed drawing. I drew everywhere. If I didn't have paper or a pencil, I would draw on the ground, like stick, dirt, chalk. Yeah, anything. I was a wild kid, even though I was very shy. So I started out with drawing and then slowly moved on from drawing to creating bubble letters, different typefaces as a middle schooler, designing posters, flyers for the school, for teachers. And then, I didn't know that was a form of design until way later on. During uni, we had a visual design program. It was actually pretty new. and they were taking applications. The program was full already. I was in the wait list, but I had to submit an essay, if I remember right. I had to submit something to get in. Like, you had to stand out. But I got in, and then, yeah, started from there.
And with SF State, was there anything that you learned specifically within that program that stuck out to you and that you hold within you today?
What do you mean?
Like when you were talking about going to the program at SF State and really just kind of like broadening your horizons, being consistent with learning new stuff. It could be from, working in the principal's office or working with teachers. Was there anything that you hold to this day? Was there anything that still like stuck out to you?
I would say just going to class. Going to classes every day, seeing my professors, my classmates, all my friends, talking to them about my work, practicing presenting my work. I think that really relates to my design. The process. Yeah, like I talked about in the Adobe showcase, the process is very important. The result is also important, but it's not finalized. You can always go back and change it, work on it more, improve it. So I would say the process.
Yeah, and with the Adobe event, how was that experience for you? Just kind of being with like-minded creatives, how was being in that room?
I think I was very lucky to be found like that, to get chosen to talk in front of over 300 people, 300 young creatives. That was actually my first time speaking in front of that many people. So, yeah. It was a bit nerve-wracking, but I had a really good time. It was very fun. I think also because I've never had that many people pay attention to me, listen to me that way. So like me sharing my ideas and just myself as a person and designer in general, that was quite a lot. Yeah.
And one of the things that definitely like kind of captured my attention is, outside inspirations. Of course, you mentioned earlier about how you get your outside sources from Asia, and I kind of want to like focus on that. How did that come to be? Like, is there any other creatives in Asia or if different outlets that you get inspired by as well?
So there's a Korean artist. He's an artist, illustrator, and also a designer. His Instagram @ would be inch, inch, inch. That's the pen name he goes by, but he does a lot of heavy illustration-based designs. So I used to think that if you are an illustrator, you can't be a designer. Like, there's no way you could put both of those together. But after seeing his work, I was very inspired. Like, there is a way.
And do you get, outside of design, of course, is there anything that you get inspired by? Like, it could be film, it can be fashion, it could be anything.
Yeah. So I actually minored in film and movies. So I watch a lot, pay attention to storytelling, different color concepts and palettes, how to like match it with my work, what I can use in the future as reference. I also take a lot of walks. I talk to a lot of random people, like strangers, people, older people, little kids.
This is just more of a curiosity thing, but what are some of like your favorite movies right now?
Favorite movie? Love in the Big City.
Love in the Big City.
It's a Korean movie that came out a while ago. Not too long ago, actually, this year. I've seen it twice already.
Twice?
Yeah, I'm like that. I tend to rewatch movies I like a lot. Like, first time, I'm watching it just to watch it. Second time, I'm watching it to like observe everything else.
Really?
There's storytelling, how it's written, how it's directed.
Dude, I'm the opposite way. The first time I watch a movie, it's more like researching what's there, like the purpose of the plot and everything, even like different cinematography methods. And then the second time I just watch it because I feel like at that stage, I'm just able to like enjoy it
Yeah.
Now that like I look through everything.
yeah, we're the opposite.
Yeah, we're the opposite. But like there's still a sense of like the process being there.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah. So one of the things that I am also, curious and discussing more about, you got your minor in film, right?
Yeah.
How was that process? Just kind of pursuing that side of creativity.
I actually took on this minor when it was COVID, during COVID. So I had a lot of extra time. That's also when I started doing Pilates. So I don't know. Classes were okay. I didn't really get to meet people, talk to them like more in depth of films and stuff. So I think it was okay. Learning wise would be more on myself. Like I had to do research by myself based on what I like, what I wanted to see, things I wanted to learn, like concepts outside of the classes. Kind of like that. So out of my own passion, I learned a lot.
And in your opinion, because I mean, for us, the one thing that's so important is really that concept of being creative in your own unique way, just kind of highlighting and expressing yourself in your own unique way. And for you, being your own creative, what are some like important traits that you incorporate within yourself?
Yeah, I would say keeping an open mind. Yeah, you just have to be very open-minded. Always be willing to explore different things outside of your comfort zone. And just always looking for growth and keep learning. Yeah.
And that feeling of growth is very prevalent, especially I feel like, when we look at growth, we look at growth in a sense of, how can we grow professionally? But I think with growth, it can be from anything. Like it could be as simple as like a plant growing and you feel like you can incorporate yourself within outside objects. And
Right.
so, one of the things that I feel like is so impactful with your work is how the constant improvement, the constant feeling of getting comfortable with uncomfortability.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the things that also like resonates is like we talked about, the process, we talked about the journey, but also I feel like there's a sense of becoming yourself, just as you start to really branch out and get more exposed to different outside influences like Pilates, getting more in tune with Pilates and getting more in tune with walks, even just the nature around here in McLaren Park, it's something that really inspires me. So how important is having outside inspirations and outside hobbies? How important is that within your actual work?
I think it's very important. It brings in traits that you could take into work, kind of like the things you like, right? Like your favorite color. Maybe you'll be using that in your designs more. But the things, for example, going on walks, right? The nature, right? Brown, green. And then when you have a design project that's more, I wouldn't say nature based, but you need to incorporate the elements that kind of connects you to nature, right? That's where you bring it in. So like you're kind of getting ideas from just the things you do, it's like reading a book, kind of gathering information and then transferring it over.
And it comes with that process of research as well.
Yeah.
Seeing like what works best for you and how you can correlate those experiences that you're able to learn into your own self.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm going to close it off with is, let's just say you have someone who is in the same position as you, like they know that like they want to pursue design or even be a creative in general. How would they go about that? Like what advice would you give them just starting out?
I would say the first step is always the hardest. So don't be afraid of making everything look perfect. Right? Like the first project you put on your creative portfolio, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be finished. You can always go back to it, but just put yourself out there. Get started.
That's real. Michelle, thank you so much for hopping on. thank you so much. Just being around nature, you know, it's very therapeutic, actually.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh, I know you're recording that.